Okay guys, so we're back with another video and I wanted to compare both the 2014 and the 2019. Is the 2019 a resculpt or is it using old parts? Is it a scam? What is it exactly? So I'm here to compare both of them. First of all, I want to get a from view comparison with both. Now both of them are looking straightforward, same pose, same everything. Now let's take a look from the side. That's how the 2014 looks, and this is the 2019. Now, from the back view, the other side. So I know a lot of people just wanted to know if NECA was actually using old parts or if this is a totally completely new sculpture. I'm here to answer your guys' questions because we will get in depth with this video and see if it's actually new or not. And so far you guys can tell that both of those sculptures, both the 2014 and 2019, look very similar to each other, but of course some brand new add-ons that the 2019 has versus the 2014 and paint applications and all of that. So we'll take a closer look to some things that I found very interesting with both figures. So this time I wanted to compare his hand. This is the 2019, this is the 2014, and you can definitely tell they're in the same pose. The 2019 appears to have more detail than the 2014, and I want you guys to see that up close. From what I can tell, the hand is not a completely new sculpt. It's the old part just enhanced. That's what I can tell. The 2014 has a different dark paint application, where the 2019 has more of a light brush to bring out all the details. And you can see the details are exactly the same. There's no difference. You guys can see, look. Just look at that. This part right here, the 2014, the 2019 actually has it. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 1, 2, and then the third one right here, but you just cannot see it because of the dark paint application. Now, let's compare this part. They are pretty much the same thing. Now, I did notice that the 2019 actually has more details inside of the hand right here versus the 2014. Just look at that. The 2014 actually has no details. Well, there is details, but the details are not as good as the 2019. So you guys can see the 2019 actually has more details inside. You guys can see that right there for sure. So they're not really using new parts for the hand. It's more of a enhancement. It's the same part, just enhanced with better details and different paint application. Now, just look at this. The 2014 cannot bend right here. The 2019 can actually bend because it has a new it has new articulation right here, where the 2019 does not have that. You guys can see it just does not exist right there. So that is new. The hand is new. Of course, it has more details. Now, something else that I wanted to compare. So next part that I wanted to compare is the neck part right here. This is the 2019, 2014. And if you cannot tell already, the 2019 is using a new part for the neck right here. You guys can see this part has a completely new sculpture, where the 2014 is using this part right here. And even the way the head moves is kind of different. This one seems to have more freedom, the 2014, versus this one, because this one is using a new sculpt right here. And you guys can see like the difference between the 2014 and 2019. As for the gills, this is the 2014 right here. Again, everything seems to be more enhanced. You guys can see the details better. You guys can see more little like details that they added right here versus the 2014. The 2014 does not appear to have that. The gills are there, but it's not as detailed as the 2019 has, and of course the paint application is different. Okay, so now we're taking a look at the front part of the neck. Just remember the articulation right here and the details that this one has. This is a brand new part that I told you the 2019 actually has. Now let's take a look at the 2019. You guys can definitely tell this part is new because of the dorsal plates. The dorsal plates, or the spikes, are redone to the 1954. You guys can tell this one has more details, and it has details that the 2014 did not have right here, even for the neck, the front neck. But it does seem similar. If you guys compare both of them, they look very, very similar. Even the way the ball joints or the articulation is made for right there, both of them appear to be very similar. But like I said, the 2014 just has more details right here, whereas the 2014 does not. You guys can see that right there. There's a big difference. And this part, his spikes are longer. This part is very short. Of course, all this part is brand new. Now look at the 2014. You guys can see there's a massive difference when you compare both of them. Now I also noticed the 2014 has two spikes right here. Now let's look at the 2019. He also has two spikes, but it appears that this first spike is bigger. You guys can see the difference? Smaller, bigger. Now for the face. The face seems to have more details. You guys can see the difference. Okay guys, the other thing that I wanted to compare is the top portion of his face and the eyes. The 2014 seems to have a more of a brownish, yellowish with a black pupil. The 2019, it has a more humanoid with a white paint. You guys can definitely see there's a big difference in the eyeballs. You guys can see the eye. It just pops out more on the 2019 versus the 2014. It's more dark. Now the top part of the head. Okay, they both look very similar, but I can already spot a big difference on both of them. Now looking at both of their heads, you can definitely tell they look very similar, right? But the 2014 is lacking in details, where the 2019 has more details. There's a big difference in details for sure, and the color. This one's more bright with more details popping out. This one is darker with less details. It's more shiny. Both of them, I mean, the sculpture of the head and everything, the design looks the same. It's just that the 2019 has more details. So what do you guys think? Is this brand new? Because they said supposedly the head is totally 100% new. I mean, the 2019 just has more details, where the 2014 even has a line right there, and it's lacking in details. But honestly, they just look the same to me. They look the same, just the 2019 looks a lot better for sure. What about the teeth? This one has 1, 2, 3. This one has 1, 2, 3. This one has more teeth. They're almost the same. That's so weird. And obviously the dorsal plates look completely different. The dorsal plates are for sure the brand new addition of this new Godzilla versus the 2014. They're much bigger, more bulkier, and they have more details for sure. Next that I wanted to compare is the chest. So this is the 2014 on the left, the 2019 is on the right. From what I can see, I do see differences right here. The 2014 and the 2019, they look different in some ways, but similar. Okay, so I noticed that the 2014, let me do a close-up, guys. Hold on. Okay, so the 2014 seems to be detailed, but not as the 2019. The 2019 just looks more detailed. You guys can see there's a difference in this first pack of lines, or his pack. I don't know if it's because it's more detailed, but this one looks bigger, this one looks smaller. And right here, I noticed this one has more details, where this one does not have the details that the 2019 has. The 2019 has a line across. The 2014 does not have a line. Now I noticed this part looks different right here. Can you guys see that? This part definitely looks different. So maybe it is 100% new, or it's half and half. Even the way this part is done, it almost looks very, very similar. What do you guys think? Is this new or resculpt or just 50-50? Even the color application for sure looks different. Let's move down to the crouch, or the, you know, this part right here. This is the 2019, 2014. I think it's the same. It's just different color for sure. And again, as I told you, on the neck part, the 2019 just has more details, where this one does not. You guys see that? That's what I meant, where this one has more details that this one does not. You guys can see there's a big difference right there. But just even on his hand, I mean, the scales just look similar. So I don't know why NECA was saying it was 100% new. I mean, just everything looks the same. Just the 2019 just has more details. The details are popping out more for sure. They're more pronounced from what I can tell. The other part that I wanted to look is right here, the scales on his body. So just keep in mind, he has this main scale right here. That's 1, 2, 3. He has 3 right there. This one has 1, 2, 3. 1 on top and a little one on the bottom. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1 on top and a little one on the bottom. They're the same thing. Look at that. They might not look similar because this one has a different paint job and the details pop out more, but you guys can definitely see they're the same thing. Man, it's so difficult to compare both of them like that. But you guys can see it's the same thing. Okay, so the 2014 has right here, it has like little spikes above the scales right here. Let's check out this one. This one has the scales and little spikes, same thing. Okay, so let's compare this part. This part has more details. This one has details but not as the 2019. So there is a difference there. Okay, so he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing. Now the only difference is, of course, this one has more scales right here. It has a different type of texture, but it's pretty much the same thing, guys. You guys tell me, is this brand new or not? From what I can tell, it is not a brand new piece. It just has more details in a different paint application. That's about it. Now the other side, he has 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just like I told you guys, it's the same thing. It's honestly the same thing from what I can tell. Just the 2019 has more enhanced parts, more details in a different paint application. That's about it. Some parts are new, as I told you, and some parts are not new. Now, the next part that I wanted to look at is spikes. So this is a 2014 spikes right here. 2019, those are definitely not resculpt or reused parts because it's obviously a brand new sculpt right here. You guys can see the difference. 2019, 2014. Let me see. see if I move this part. Is it the same part? Let me check something out. Okay, so looking at the 2019, it looks like this main part was glued. It looks like this spike right here was added, because if you look closely, you guys can definitely tell this part was added. Like, they glue on this part. So maybe it is old, but here's the thing. These spikes are not, you know, they're part of the mold, so it cannot be old. I don't know what it is, guys. What do you guys think? Is this old or new? Because look, there's no way they were glued in. You can tell the spikes right here are part of the mold. The main spikes right here, like the biggest spikes, yeah, the biggest ones are the ones that were glued on. Now let's take a look at the 2014. The 2014, you can definitely tell the main spikes were also added, but these spikes were not added. This is part of the mold as well. So even if they reuse that part of the mold, they would still have to remove the 2014 spikes to resculpt this. So I would say it's 50-50. It's part new and part old, because they had to resculpt the new spikes right here. Like, that's just impossible for them to use the same parts and just leave it right there. So they obviously had to remove the 2014 spikes and redo the 2019, because these are very, very soft. You guys can tell, look, they bent. They're very soft. The 2014 are hard. They're molded with this mold right here. Okay, now it's time to compare this part right here. Just remember how this 2014 piece right here, we're talking about this whole piece. Remember, his spikes look smaller right here. This is the gap. That's how it looks. Pushed on. Bend forward. Now this is the 2019. Remember the gap. Push backwards, forwards. There's a big difference. Remember where the 2014 had these smaller spikes right there? Look at that. It's very hard. This is super, super soft. You guys can see it bends. This does not bend. So there's already a huge difference between both of them, where you guys can see there's a lot of free space right here where the spikes are not placed, where the 2014 is taking up, I mean the 2019 is taking up that space right there. So yes, this part is a massive improvement, and you guys can see the distance between the spike and this part of the articulation. Just remember that it seems that the space where the 2014 had a lot of freedom is now taken by this spike right here, or those dorsal plates on the 2019, where the 2014 just has a lot of free space right here. There's a big distance between the articulation point and the spikes, whereas the 2014 does not have that. There's so little space between the articulation point and the spikes. So I can definitely say this is a brand new piece right here. Obviously the spikes are brand new. So yes, I do see a difference, and when it comes to even sculpture and just details, just look at this part right here. 2019 definitely has new details and new texture and sculpture to it. So it is not an old piece. This is definitely 100% new. Okay, so now that we're looking at the tail, you can obviously tell this is the 2019, that's the 2014, and both of the tails look very different, right? But I noticed some things are very similar to each other. Just look at this spike right here. This one, even this one, and this one right here are actually the same spike as this one right here. Just look at that. It curves up, and then you have the other spike right here. That's this one. This one right here is this small one, and then you have the main big spike, which is this one right here. And just so you get a close-up of the 2014 of what I'm talking about, see, they're the same spikes right here. This one, and this one on the 2019 right here. So you can see they're actually the same spike right here and right here. But the rest of the tail, they look different. Just look at it. So when you compare the rest, going from that direction, it's obviously a new sculpt starting from this right here, because all this tail is a new sculpture. You obviously get less spikes as the tail starts going to the tip. You see less spikes. On the 2019, it's the opposite. You have more spikes and they're sculpted different. You guys can see there's a difference, and also in length. You guys can see that the 2019 is actually smaller, and it has the 1954 type of tail right here with the 2019, whereas the 2014 was much longer and sharper. So for the tail, I can honestly say that it's using part of the old mold, but it's mostly new. It's just that it's mixed with brand new and old parts. But most of the tail, from what I can tell, is actually new, because you do get additional details on the 2019, where the 2014 just does not have any details. You guys can see right here, the 2019 on his tail, you don't really have enough details or just texture enough. Now looking at the 2019, you get more details, more scales, more like an alligator type of dragon and lizard. There's just more details on the 2019 for sure. So that's the only difference that I can find on the tail. Okay, it's time to compare both of the feet or the claws, whatever you want to call it. This is the 2019, this is the 2014, and we can all agree that both of the figures are not using the same sculpture. Every single figure, which I'm comparing both, they're using different details and sculpture when it comes to it, and of course the design, because the 2019 is, designed based on the 1954 mixed with the 2014, so there's a big difference. Obviously the 2014 is more like elephant like dinosaur, and they're more together. You guys can see the feet and the toes or whatever, they're more together, whereas the 2019, you can see that the claws are much spread out, and you guys can see they're longer, sharper, and they look like T-Rex type of GMK, just like more traditional Godzilla like, whereas this one, it has a weird type of feet, more like elephant, as I told you. And here you guys can see that there's a big difference between the size of the feet. The 2014 appears to be much smaller than the 2019, and as I told you, the 2019 has much sharper and longer feet, whereas the 2014, they're more together. Yeah, there's a huge difference. You guys can see it from the side. Like, there's just a huge difference between both of them, and I definitely like the 2019 design better on the feet versus the 2014. I mean, they're not that bad, but this just looks weird, and this looks more developed. This just looks more natural, and it makes sense to see a beast the size of Godzilla having feet like that versus the 2014. And I honestly do love this. They look really cool with the 2019. So that's the 2019 version, that's the 2014. So I think we can all agree that NECA did not use the same sculpture or the same, design for the 2014 and 2019. So that's that. The feet is a brand new part for sure. Now, when it comes down to the leg and all the details, I think both of them look very similar. And the reason why I think it is the same sculpt that they're using, or the same, piece, is because just look at the 2014 right here. You can see the 2014 has like some lines right here. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines right here. Now look at the 2019. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so something else that I didn't notice is, just watch this. The 2019 has some detail right here, and it has a line. 2019, it has the same detail and the same line right here, pretty much the same texture. You guys can see both of the figures have the same texture, and even right here, just look at that. It has like this weird line. The 2019, it has that weird line, but obviously it looks much better here and details are popping out more because of the wash. This one has a much darker paint job, like I told you. This one has a better paint job application, and same goes right here. Just look at that. There is detail, but it's not enough. You don't see the detail popping like you see on the 2019. And look, I noticed something else right now. Just look at that. From the inside, you can see it has the old type of color from the 2014 right here. You can see underneath there was a black, like a shiny black right here. So I wonder if it's the same part and they just decided to use a different paint over it. But I don't know. Part of me wants to say that it's the same design that they got from the 3D prints, but they decided to just add more details and make the color different. That's from, I mean, that's what I see right here. And even right here, just look at that. There's like some dark paint right here, just like the 2014. And obviously it has like a wash, like I'm telling you guys. So I really don't know. Both of the figures to me look exactly the same in some parts, and in some other ways it's much different. Okay, so another difference that I just noticed right now is this part right here. Part of the neck, or the way that this part was cut out, it looks different from the 2019. It's just like, I'm not sure if it's the angle, but I doubt it, because look, they're pretty much different, and that gives each figure different articulation. And I did notice there's different articulation on the 2014 and the 2019. For some reason, the 2014 does not turn his head as much as the 2014 does, and I'm not sure if it's because of this piece or just the way that the 2019 has this brand new piece, and it's just blocking a lot of movement, because that's as far as the neck can go. I mean the head, it just doesn't tilt that much. In the 2014, just look at that, without any problem. You can see that there's a big difference how the heads turn on the 2019 and 2014. So that's the other thing that I did notice. Okay, so my final thoughts on the figures. I think the 2019 is definitely using new parts, but it's a mixture between new and old parts. I think it's using old parts, but they're just enhanced to make the details pop out more because of the paint job. And by enhance, I mean that it's using the old design, but they obviously went back and they added more details to the design that was already on the 2014, and they enhanced every single detail possibly to make the 2019 even better. And it's the same design because both of them are using the same head sculpture. Everything is the same, but the 2019 just has different parts added, like the spikes, this part right here, the feet, the tail, but it's using part of the old version, as I told you, just enhanced to pop out more details. It has a different paint job on it. It has a different, material on the spikes. And overall, just the texture feels different on both of the figures from what I can tell. And if you're still confused and you don't understand, put it this way. Think about it between a console or a PC. If you're playing on a PC and you have low settings, think about it as the low settings is the 2014 and you're playing on ultra settings with the 2019. There's going to be a big difference. It's the same game that you're playing, but the difference is on the graphics, the details. Obviously on the ultra settings, your graphics, and on the game, the graphics are going to pop out even more. There's going to be more shadow detail, more details all over the environment, like the grass, the trees. Everything is going to be enhanced, versus the low settings, which is the 2014. Everything is going to look without any details, blurry, like a potato, like just without any details. And this is like the PC, and this is like playing on a low PC settings. And that's exactly what I see between both. It's the same game, but the difference is in settings. One of them is using better graphics, the other one is on a low-end graphics settings. The same thing, just more details, different things added, and that's the way that I see it. Now, another comparison that I could do, and it's a very, very good comparison. Remember back when Pacific Rim came out? I remember we got this figure back in the day, which is the first Gypsy Danger that we got back in the day. And look, the details and all that, it was okay. It wasn't the best, but the articulation was not that good. You know, you can obviously tell this is Gypsy Danger. And, you know, as time went on, we actually got a better Gypsy Danger from NECA. So you can obviously tell this is like the enhanced version of the original. This is the original. This is the enhanced version that came out later, or the upgraded Ultimate Gypsy Danger. And you can obviously tell that it has more things. It just has more details. Like I said, it's the same design, but just with more details. You can see right here, it has more lines, more details that the original did not have. Just even the paint application is way different. You guys can see right here on the shoulders, he doesn't have the lines or the details that this one has right here. And it's like I told you, same mold, same color. The only difference is that it's enhancing the parts that the original has with better details, and adding on to it to make the details just pop even more than the original could ever do. Like, you guys can see there's just difference on the back. This one looks more soft without any details, and this one just looks like just much better with all the details popping. And you guys can even see there's a difference right here. That's the way that I see both of the 2014 and 2019. So for a lot of people that don't see a difference, you're not going to see a difference in the design because they're using the original 2014/2019 design. It's not going to change because it's the same design. The only thing that will change is that obviously the dorsal plates, his tail, his feet, because that's a brand new addition that comes with the 2019 King of the Monsters. And when I'm talking about that they're using old parts, yes, it's the old parts, but it's new in a way because they're going back and they're taking a look at the old design and they're making the same mold. But when they're making the same mold, they're obviously adding more details. That's why I'm calling it an enhancement, because it's part of the old original design with more enhancements, more details. That's why you see more details popping on the 2019 versus the 2014. Now you guys can obviously see there's a big difference right here. When you see the 2014, look at that. The 2014 is more glossy, less details, and the 2019 just has more details. And that's what I think. I think the only brand new parts that I can tell the 2019 has is this part of the neck. This is new. That's 1, 2. This is new. This part is new, so that's 3 new pieces. This part is new. This part right here is reused with enhancements, and the rest of the tail is new. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pieces. 6 with his feet, obviously. All of this is old but just enhanced. And for this part, I would say it's new but just enhanced as well because it has more articulation. For the chest, I would have to say it's enhanced but new. I don't know, like some parts really look the same but other parts just look totally different. So what do you guys think? Do you guys feel like other parts are used? Do you guys feel like it's a totally new design? Because I do remember NECA confirmed on Twitter that the 2014 and the 2019 are completely different molds. So I don't know. I gave you guys my thoughts. If you guys find any differences on yours or anything that I did miss, drop it down in the comments below, because that's the only differences that I could find between both the 2014 and 2019. And obviously the paint. This one looks like a more nighttime version, like a brand new type of, you know, Godzilla. And this one just looks like a more dusty, beat up, more detailed daytime Godzilla. Daytime, nighttime Godzilla. That's how I see it. And am I disappointed that both of the figures look similar? No, I'm not, because the 2014 was already a fantastic design, and here on the 2019 it looks very good. It's welcome. I do like the added brand new details, but who knows if it's really that accurate to the movie, because a lot of people are complaining about this spike right here. They're saying that this spike is actually too long, or just too big. You know, it's too big and too long. And from what I can tell on the trailers and other figures, this spike is supposed to be a lot shorter, and then this main spike is okay and all that. And I want to do one more comparison with another figure. Hold on. Now I wanted to bring the original 1954 Godzilla because the 2019 is based on the 1954. So just look at this. Obviously this spike right here is this one right here, and I can definitely say they did a fantastic job. You can definitely see that they capture the spike. This one, you guys see it has like a curve, like a V, and obviously the tail end is not that spiky. So here we have both of the tail ends. They look very similar, but the 2019 is not that sharp, whereas the 54, it does appear to be more sharp. I'm not sure if that's a design difference, but I can honestly see both of them. They look so similar to each other when you compare both of them. You guys see this one is this one right here, this one would be this one right here, and obviously this spike is this one right here. So you guys can see they definitely did a fantastic job. This one has 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and then the main one, this is the main one, and then the two last ones, 1 2, and then this one has 3, 1 2 3. So definitely they did a fantastic job from what I can tell. Even here on the bottom, this one has 1 2, this one has 1 2, but it has it seems like it has 3 right here. So this one has 3, and then it curves to the left and then to the right. Same with the original. The original one, it curves to the left and then to the right. So on that, I can definitely say that it captures the 54 spikes with the 2014, and that's fantastic. I really do enjoy how the brand new design is looking on the 2019 for sure. So that's my final thoughts between the 2019 and 2014. If you guys have any more questions, if there's anything else that you guys want me to compare with each other, let me know. And I'm not done yet. There's going to be more Godzilla 2019 to come in my channel with the SH Monster Art and the Mothra NECA, which I'm very excited to review. And the 2014 looks alright, but the 2019 looks just amazing. I love this detail. Even the spikes on the 2014, they just look like they're barely growing up, and this one just looks more mature, like the spikes have finally grown and developed, which I definitely do enjoy and love on this brand new design. I think NECA definitely did a fantastic job with their own take on the Godzilla King of the Monsters design for him right here, and I cannot wait to review more NECA stuff like the Mothra and Rodan. And I really want to buy the SH Monster Arts King Ghidorah, but that's just too much money. If you guys want to help support my channel with anything, I'm very close to buying that figure. So anything like $20, $10, $5, whatever you have is welcome. There's already a link on my channel to my PayPal if you want to donate. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, because I will do stop motions with this guy. And thank you guys for watching. It's a pleasure to do content for you guys and to do reviews. Thank you so much, NECA, and thank you to all my viewers.